Welcome back, everybody, to The Colonel Does Novus Inceptio, and today we're going to cover an update. We're actually covering two updates. So I haven't had much time to play lately, so I missed completely doing the update for Alpha 08.015, which was a performance enhancement update. And you can probably notice in the top right there, my FPS is like over 100, and I don't think I've ever experienced that in this game. So they've done some really cool stuff in the last few weeks with updates. I am getting, like, even moving around, I'm still getting around 100 FPS. Turning, maybe not so much, but this is great because when I was moving before, it was giving me, 40s, 50s. So this is awesome. Even the display of that thing of the tower is pretty cool. So awesome work with the performance boost. They were saying that the performance boost is anywhere from 10 to 20 FPS. I'm actually experiencing more, I think. So well done. They did some other changes as well to procedural world gen. So when you're moving around and you're going into new areas, it's not going to be as laggy as it generates the terrain around it. So awesome there. So lots of cool performance fixes. There were also some fixes to some data points at login, which would include character location and your stamina bar. I think it either dropped them or it something happened with them. I think you might have kind of logged in with 0 stamina or something, or you might have logged into a different place than where you had logged out of. So that got fixed. At night, birds are no longer flying because I don't think I've ever heard birds at night. So that's a little more realism there. And a bunch of minor building fixes. There was an overhaul in 014 to some of the building, and they fixed some bugs there and some other bugs and other things and translations and whatnot were also updated in 015. 016, which is what we're in now, when I actually logged in here the first time and I started the episode, I didn't realize that we were in 016. I noticed that my farm was still alive. The last time I logged out and logged back in, all of my stuff had withered away and died. So I think what was happening was the game clock, I think probably part of the 014 update, maybe? Possibly the 015 update. The game clock, I guess, continued to run, or at least when you log back in, it knew where it was. So it kind of did a time calculation, and it sped it up, and everything had just kind of withered and died. So I knew something had changed, and I knew it wasn't in 015. So awesome. So 016, huge update. There was a lot of stuff in this patch. This might be a long one. There's so much to cover. All right, so we'll start off with the farming. So what they've done is they've reduced. So when these things had withered away, when you tried to destroy them, it took like maybe 10-15 seconds sometimes to get rid of the maybe not 15. I think it was somewhere between 7 and 10 to get rid of each one of the farms. So if you planted a whole bunch of them and they all withered, to destroy them would just take forever. So what they've done is they've reduced the timer now for the destroy. So let's see, how many seeds do we have in inventory here? Got potato seeds. Cotton. Do we have cotton? That's garlic. We don't have cotton. Wait. We have garlic. Onion. Garlic seed. We have 2 garlic seeds. Okay, so let's destroy this one. So if we remove it... So that took literally no time at all. So that is much improved. It just didn't make sense to... You could plop one of these things down like lickety-split, but you'd have to wait like 10 seconds to destroy it, which just didn't make any sense. So thank you very much for making that update. That was awesome. The other change to farming is that plants no longer wither, and this is only applies to single player. So if you're playing in ghost mode, which is kind of a single player version of multiplayer, hard to explain, but if you're playing Ghost mode, this does not apply to you. I think the plants will still wither. I'm not sure if they're going to make that change in the future or not, but for now, if you want to be able to plant crops and go away and come back like hours later, after a couple of days or go to sleep or something, you have to use single player mode. So in single player mode, this is great. The plants will no longer wither and die, so you can just leave them like this for eternity. And you'll still be able to come back and harvest them, even though you have not watered them or anything like that. So that is awesome. Okay, so there's been a lot of item management things done in this patch. So they've done some realistic weighting of the items. So the craft, I think the gist here is that when you craft an item, let's say, let's see, what can we craft? Let's say we craft a rope, right? So you have a fiber, 2 fibers to make a rope. When you have a fiber that weighs like 1 and a fiber that weighs like 1, I think sometimes the end product would either weigh the same or more than the components. For example, let's see, a head? No. Let's say a blade, right? So you use a metal ingot to make a blade, and the blade would either weigh the same or more than the ingot. And I say the same or more because I know that there are some instances where people were finding that the end product weighed more than the original. I don't know for certain if this was the case with the blade or not, but it wasn't weighing less. So the logic here is that when you make a blade, you're kind of whittling down a metal ingot, or even when you're making a handle from wood, you know, you're using branches, but you're kind of whittling them down to make a handle, and you're kind of shaping and forming the ingot, and you're wasting some of it to make the blade. So the logic is that the blade is actually going to weigh less than the ingot, and then you got to combine the blade and the handle and all that stuff. So they've kind of readjusted some of the weights, and I think that's what you're going to find is that the components weigh more than the actual end product, which is the way it should be. Use of a tool in crafting reduces durability. So this slot here is no longer an actual inventory slot. So if you notice in the past, you could put your sword in the active slot, and it would disappear from your bar here. This slot is no longer active. I'm sorry, this it's no longer a slot. Basically, it kind of indicates what the active thing is. So if we go into craft, let's see. So let's say I think we need what could we make? I think let's see. Farming? No. You know what? Let's make yeah, there we go. A knife. All right, so let's make a knife. We can autofill that. Of course, we need fiber, cause that's how I roll, man. We need a fiber. Autofill. There we go. Craft it. This is also going to come into effect. The skill level that you have and the quality of what you make. I'll get into that in a second. Let me get back to the tool here. Crude knife. Okay, so let's craft it. Oh, it doesn't say that I need anything. Shoot. All right. So, So I haven't tried this, but what I gather, I don't think I have all the materials to make something, and I don't want to waste any time, but what I gather is that this will show, you know what, let's go fishing. That'll do it. So the fishing rod is going to be the active tool. So if I go fish, which is 3, so it shows now as the active tool, and it shows red on the bar. So now you know what is actually being used. Wait, what? I'm currently fishing. I don't want to fish. Stop fish. There we go. So, so yeah, so now you can see the... I hate having to switch this mode. That is the one thing I hope they fix somehow, is to... Oh, you know what? Maybe it's the alt. Left alt? It is! Left alt. Oh, sweet. So now we can switch back and forth. That was probably always there, wasn't it? If it wasn't, thank you for adding it. This is great. Okay, so this bar here, this little icon is just an icon. It's an indicator to show you what is the active tool. So if I was using the anvil, I'm sure the tool would be the anvil or the hammer or something. If I was making, if I was chopping a tree down, it would be the axe. Actually, let's go chop a tree. I don't want to chop that one. Let's chop one of these little guys up here. Because that's another change that was made. Was to trees. So if you look at the trees here, you can see that each one has... So the resin is 6, the bark is 8, and the pick branch is 6. So you got 6 resin, 8 bark, and 6 branches, right? So if I chop this down, before, all you could get was the logs from it. So now if we cut it down, we'll see that our active tool is our axe, which is great. Okay, so now it's going to roll down the hill. It's going to continue to roll down the hill. I hope it stops. There we go. Okay, so now you can actually pick the resin, the bark, and the branch. And actually, this is wrong. So this is a bug. I'll have to report that. So what was in the release notes was that the resin, bark, and branch would basically be cut in half. And the logic being that when you chop it down, you're going to damage some of the stuff as it rolls down the hill or when it crashes to the ground. So this really should be 3 resin, 4 bark, and 3 branches, but that's not the case. So, so that's kind of a bug. We actually ended up, I think, with more resin, which, you know, kind of sucks because I don't really need the resin right now. Okay, so now that we've got everything off of here, we can chop it. And I think it gives us the number of logs that it's supposed to give us, and it does. And in this case, it just says that we got 1 log. Why did it only give us 1 log? We've only earned 1 log? So maybe that's another bug. I don't know. I'll have to look into that a little more. What's supposed to happen is there's supposed to be a certain number of logs, I think, that are supposed to be given for each type of tree. Actually, maybe... Well, no, that should give us more than 1 log. So it's supposed to give you that number of logs, basically. And obviously that one only gave us 1, so that's unfortunate. So that's pretty much all that was changed with the trees. Which is cool, though. It was cool that you can chop it down and then grab stuff later. Because I've done that a few times where I've chopped it and thought, oh crap, I need to grab the stuff that was off it, and it was too late. So at least this way, if you chop it down by accident, and you're not thinking of what you're doing, then at least you can get something in return. Okay, so back to the item management. So we've talked about the active tool. And so what they've done in the crafting is they've actually applied the skills. So when you're crafting like a knife or something, you can see that your skill level is here, and when you craft it, the item gets a tier. And I think the tier, there it is. So there's a tier indicator in the lower left. So if there's no indicator, then it's a tier 0 item. And so this one is a tier 1. Obviously we don't really care about the resin, and we don't really care about the bark. But I guess the tier kind of indicates the quality of the item. And I'm not sure, because I haven't messed with it much, but I think that might fall into the quality of the materials that you're using may improve with the quality of the items that you're crafting. Or, I'm sorry, the items that you craft, their quality improves with your skill and the tier of the item that you're using to craft it with. So if we're using bark, right? So or if we're using like branches that are tier 1 branches, then the quality of what we're making, like the handle or something, might improve the quality of what we're making. I don't know how that kind of plays into things in the actual game mechanics. Like, does it improve the durability of the item? Does it do anything specific to the item? Like, if we have a tier 1 sword, how is that different from a tier 0 sword? So that I'm not positive about, but just the kind of the logic into the crafting of the item, the higher tier items that you're going to use is obviously going to improve the quality of the item that you're going to make. And all of that, I think, is dependent on skill. So if we have, God, I love this Alt key. If we have, so if we have a tree and we're harvesting the bark from it, if our skill level in forestry, I guess, or tree chopping, whatever that is, if we have a higher skill in that, then we're going to get better stuff in return. So we're going to get like tier 1 branches or tier 1 bark, as opposed to just the regular stuff. So that's kind of cool. It's good to see that indicator there. It does take up additional inventory slots, and we're going to talk about that in a minute as well. Likewise, with armor, we haven't gotten into armor in the series yet. We'll probably get to that in a couple episodes. But the armor also used to have like a name in it. I think if we go to the crafting menu. So yeah, so all of these items used to have like a tier indicator in their name, and they've removed that. So by default, everything that you craft is like tier 0, and then if it's tier 1, it'll show up in the icon. So that's a little bit of a change to the armor, the labeling. Let's see, what else we got? Man, there's just so much to cover. So the A2A. So one of the things that a lot of folks have used, and myself included, is the ability to just kind of move the heavy stuff over to the A2A. And by default, it uses... Actually, you know what? I'm going to drop this. Okay, so the... Man, why did that clear my inventory? So by default, all the heavy stuff goes into your A2A. And by default now, it's actually been lowered, because it used to be a little higher number. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but now it's basically half a kilogram. So what you can do, though, is what they've done is they've added it to... Oops, there we go. The gameplay. So they've added this to the gameplay menu, and you can see, where is it? Move automatically items to A2A by weight. So right now it defaults to half a kilogram. If you want to make everything go into your A2A, you can reduce that to 0.1. Or at least the really, like, stuff like seeds is probably not going to go in there, but pretty much everything else is going to go in there. Or you can just leave it at the default, or you can just make it really heavy stuff. But that's going to screw you up. I don't know how strength is going to fall into this. I think you just gain strength by just continuing to do stuff. I'm not positive on if there's an effective way to improve your strength skill. I'm pretty sure that your strength will increase the amount of stuff that you can carry, but it's very, very slow progress. Let's see. Also, so the item, the chat here will also indicate where an item went. So if it says inventory, it's gone into your personal inventory, and if it says A2A storage, then it's gone into your A2A storage. So at least you know, if you're picking stuff up and you're looking at the chat, then you can see where that stuff is going. So that is a great, handy little tool. So you see up here the fishing game. So they've made a change to the fishing in that you can turn this off. So you saw when we were doing it earlier where it was like the fishing game. So you had to hit the space bar to get like a perfect cast, and then you had to type the letters. So you can turn that off, and that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to turn that off. So if we go back and fish, it's the old mechanic, which is great. I personally like this a lot better. So I'm looking forward to that. The difference between using the fishing game, and the traditional, the classic version of fishing, is that there's no bonuses, so you're not going to get like really cool stuff coming out of the water. To do that, you're going to have to turn the game mode on, but I will caveat that at the moment there are no bonuses right now. So there's really no difference between casting the old way or casting with the fishing game. So you're basically going to get the same stuff for each. I just think it's for now anyway. It's a lot easier to just do it the classic way, even though it takes a little longer. You don't have to worry about farting around with your hands and stuff, trying to type stuff. So I'm glad they put that back in. It makes it a lot easier for me to do stuff, which is great. Water. Man, just so much stuff. Water. Okay, so we showed in inventory we have this H2O thing, right? Some of you may have picked up on that. So H2O, this is what the original... so if you had buckets of water in your inventory, it got converted into H2O. And I think that says I've got 12. They might want to think about moving that H2O to the top because you can't see the count there. So we have H2O in our inventory. Now we've got 17, it looks like. So if we want to... we can no longer forage, basically, is what it comes down to. So you can't go into the water and forage and get water. You're going to get stone, clay, you're going to get fish, alga, stuff like that. You're not going to get water. So to get water, though, you can craft a bucket. And I believe it's in the furniture bucket. So you need a plank, and you need nails, and you need a nail. Now, the good thing about the bucket is that you can reuse it, so you don't lose it every time you use it. But it's not cheap to start. And I don't think I don't have any planks, do I? I don't think I do. Let's see. Oh, man. Real estate. Screen real estate. Hard to come by. I do not have planks. Nutballs. And I don't think I have any nails. Alright, so let's quickly make some planks, parts, plank. Wait, what? I don't have planks? Raw? Plank. There we go. So, let's make... Oh no, I need a saw to make planks? Oh no. Alright. Crap. And I need nails. Nails I can do. You do not have enough raw materials? Oh, I need an anvil. Man. Alright, so... Did you notice that? It's not as smooth as it was before. I noticed that I had that problem when I was in... It's still... well, I guess that's an improvement. It's the same with both, but... It's a little choppy. Especially when you're going side to side. Wonder if that's part of the performance improvements? Oh, you know what? It might be my graphic settings. I might have lowered them a bit. I'll have to fiddle with that a bit later. Alright, so... give me 1 second, and I will be back once I've got this saw crafted so that we can get some planks. Alright, so we are back, and we are crafting with our saw. And one of the other things that has been changed is that... so when you fail crafting, before... That was when your tool was getting the durability of the tool was being reduced. But now the durability of the tool is reduced on a success. I don't believe you're penalized anymore on a failed craft. So in this case, we're crafting some planks, and those are from logs. And it looks like we can get 6 of them on a success. There we go. So we got 6 planks now. And I did make some nails. So let's go into furniture, craft a bucket. Autofill and craft. We need a hammer. So now the hammer is active, which is great. And that failed. Actually, you know what? Does I wonder if the quality goes down because I don't see. Oh, I do see it. Oh, okay. So it looks like we need to pay more, really close attention to this. So the green looks like that's an indicator of how much is left on it. Interesting. So our carpentry skill is not very good. Oh, we're a level 5 carpentry. Okay, so cool. Alright, so we crafted... What did we craft? A bucket. Where'd the bucket go? There it is. Okay, so let's close this guy here. So now we have a bucket, and this flashing thing is a bug. They know about it. Hopefully we can get it fixed soon. Okay, so bucket. I think what we need to do with the bucket... Okay, so we can either use a context menu so we can fill with water, and if we're standing in water, it'll fill it. Or I think we can move it to an inventory slot and use the hotkey. I think, maybe? Nope. Okay, maybe not. Alright, so... Oh, I can't do it from there either? Snap. Okay. So move it back into our inventory, and we fill it. Okay, so we can do that. So my understanding is that if you craft it, or if you craft a bunch of buckets, so let's say you want to do like, 15 buckets of water or something, so you want to do some bulk farming or bulk whatever, you can take those 15, a stack of 15 from your inventory, and just hover over the stack of empty buckets, and just do the action on those 15 buckets. If you do them individually, that will just use the one bucket. But if you do it as a stack, I think it will fill up the whole stack. And if you wanted to drink it, I think you probably could drink a whole stack too. So that's kind of cool. Let's see, what else? So we noticed that the crafting of the bucket is done from the furniture menu. So the bucket can also be used as a decoration. So if you want to use the bucket as a decoration, I think you can just drop it, right? Let's see. Let's drink it. I'll probably need to eat in a minute. Let's see, drop it. Oh, come on. Why is it do? Why? Why? No, why are you not letting me do this? Thank you. Too close to the screen. So there. So now you got a bucket. I wonder if a filled bucket will work too. Inventory. Fill it. Okay. And now let's drop it up here. And do that. Drop it. Oh, it's not full. But we can drink from it. Sweet. And we grab the bucket. Okay, cool. Alright, so lots and lots of changes in this version. I'm really impressed with the frame improvement. Obviously, when it's raining, it's not going to be that good. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this. Hopefully this was helpful overview. I'm gonna enjoy playing this a little bit more tonight. Maybe record another episode and kind of move on with some other things. But obviously this is going to change a lot of the way that we approach things. So, maybe I'll come up with another video down the road with some tips and tricks that kind of apply the new game mechanics. Because a lot of the tips and tricks that I had were kind of based on the old stuff. One of those tips and tricks was to forage in the water. Can't do that anymore. So we're going to have to kind of adjust our methodology a bit. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. The guys are putting out updates, it seems like, at least once a week. This was a really significant update for 016. So hopefully we'll kind of see that every 2 or 3 weeks or so. In between, we'll have a bunch of bug fixes and hot fixes and stuff like that. So things are going good with the game. The devs are really paying attention to the community, which is awesome. And I'm really looking forward to some of the things that are coming. So yeah, if you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to leave them below. And until next episode, please do take care.